This is the map your AI coding agent just built you. Underwhelming? Yeah, I thought so. So I've been building maps online for over a decade, and AI agents are now writing most of this code for new developers. Currently, every single one of them defaults to the same outdated base maps and tools. In this video, I'm going to show you what's wrong with the code they're handing you, the 3 signals you can spot in 30 seconds, and the one-line prompt that fixes it all. But here's what bothers me most. The fix isn't a workaround. It's the modern default these agents don't seem to know yet. And it does things that none of these defaults can do out of the box. Let me show you what the problem looks like live. This is the same code you would have written in 2014. And this is what most people are publishing right now. They asked AI to build a map. They got a map. It worked. They moved on. And technically, it is correct. This is what they asked for, but think about what a web map actually has to do. It has to show data for any place on Earth, at any zoom level, reliably, the second a user drags or moves the map around. Somebody has to serve all of that. And it's not just the complexity of serving the data, styling that data at different zoom levels across the globe and making it approachable and useful, but also well-designed is a significant challenge. Layer on the complexity of doing that at global scale, and you're left with few options. The AI wants to hand you something that works right now with no blockers, so it reaches for the tools with the most reliable free resources behind it. The path it chooses is going to be a base map like this. It is free, it's everywhere in the training data, and it never fails to load, so it's what you get. Honestly, the AI is giving you the path of least resistance, not the best tool for the job. But here's what you should be looking for instead: 3 different signals. So first one, the default base map is raster tiles, not vector. That means you cannot rotate, tilt, or restyle anything without going back to a server with PNG images coming over the web. It limits you significantly. Signal number 2 is that you're missing a globe projection, no 3D terrain, no dynamic lighting. The mat is flat, always flat. And signal 3, the cartography is stuck, it's locked. You're stuck with the same OSM default dark and light styles from 2014. You can change the data on top, but underneath, you can't change anything. If your agent gave you any of those 3 things, it picked the wrong toolkit. Look, Leaflet came out in 2011. Most of these base map styles were designed over 10 years ago. We are over a decade overdue for an upgrade. So how do you actually steer the agent to the right thing? The fix is one line. That is the whole fix. And notice what I did and did not put in there. With Mapbox GLJS, the globe projection is already the default. I didn't have to ask for a globe projection. With the standard style, globe projection is already the default, so you get it out of the box for free. You don't have to spell it out. I did ask for the standard style by name, and this matters. Naming the standard style explicitly is what pulls forward to the most modern default. And I handed it a few coordinates and asked for markers and pop-ups. We're not just looking at a prettier base map. We're looking at something that is already close to a finished product. Points on a map, click a point, get a pop-up. It's the same amount of effort, but it is a completely different result. Look at the difference: vector tiles, globe projection, real markers with pop-ups, a base map underneath, not an inherited set of PNG images. Now let me show you this setup so you can do this in any project starting today. The fastest path is a single HTML file. No build step, no bundler, nothing to install. You load Mapbox GLJS with 2 lines, one for the script, one for the style sheet. Then you add your access token. You get one for free, and you get up to 50,000 monthly free map views when you create a Mapbox account. The link to do so is in the description. Then you point your map to the standard style and drop in the coordinates or the data you need to add. That's it. It's one HTML file. Open in the browser and you have a vector base map with a globe projection and your own markers up and running. So if your agent gave you Leaflet plus OSM, the fix is that one prompt line. You are building from scratch. This single HTML file is the fastest way for you to see it work. And dropping that same context into your agent will help it skip ahead to the stack you actually want. When you move into a framework project later, the same thing installs with npm install Mapbox GL, but you don't need that to get started. So the big question is, why is this standard style the answer? What does it actually give you? This is one of the coolest parts of Mapbox, in my opinion. So it comes out of the box with vector tiles, so you can rotate, tilt, and zoom without any server-side work. You don't have to do anything. It comes with globe projection by default, so the world looks like a world, not a giant flat rectangle. And one of the things I love is the dynamic lighting that follows the time of day. It has 3D buildings for major cities and place labels that resolve correctly at every zoom level, which is something these other base maps never had or never got right. But what really makes it different is that you can customize it, and there are two ways of doing that depending on how much control you want. The first path is in your code. The standard style exposes configuration properties you can set right when you initialize the map. The light preset, show or hide labels, show or hide 3D buildings, color themes. You set those in the same file and you can add your own data on top locally. No external tooling, good for when you want to make a few quick adjustments alongside your data. The second path is Mapbox Studio. This is where you build a custom style. Same standard base, but here you can add your own data, style it on top, change the color palette, hide labels, adjust the lighting, and save the whole thing as a style you reuse everywhere. You don't have to generate tiles, there's no server, no build step. The style updates everywhere you are using it. Even if you're not a graphic designer or a cartography expert, Mapbox built this so you can change the thematic look without making every single low-level decision. Like, think about if you had to style every individual road classification. That would take forever. That brand-aligned map you just saw, I built it in 90 seconds, so that is the choice. Configure in code for quick changes next to your data, or build a reusable custom style in Studio. Same standard underneath either way. So standard is what shows up to your users. What is underneath it that you can continue to build on? There are 5 pieces in the Mapbox ecosystem that matter. I'm going to give you 30 seconds on each of them so you know exactly what they do. First is GLJS. This is the rendering layer, the JavaScript library that draws the map in your browser. You probably have been using it whether you knew it or not, because almost every major web map that you have seen on a news site or a real estate platform or anything is built on GLJS. But it's not just drawing. This is where the interactivity lives. You control the map with code. You can fly to a location, show and hide layers, react to clicks, drive the camera, all from JavaScript. That's the difference between a static picture and an app. The second is Data Workbench. This is the easy on-ramp for your data. GeoJSON in, tile set out. You upload your data, it becomes a hosted vector tile set, and you can use it immediately in Studio and in your map. No data file to host, no worrying about a GeoJSON being too large to render, no server to run. Under the hood, this is powered by the Mapbox tiling service, and if you have a serious pipeline for very large tile sets, you can drop down to the tiling service directly and script the whole thing. For almost everyone, Data Workbench is where you start. Third is the Maps SDK, the mobile path, same style, same data, native rendering on iOS or Android. And if you've ever built a desktop web map and then realized you need a mobile app, this makes the experience completely seamless. There's also a Flutter SDK, so you can build cross-platform from one code base, and web support for Flutter is on the way. Fourth, the Studio Style Editor. We already saw this style customization without code. Designers can release cartography changes without touching the JavaScript. Fifth is the tiling service. This is the engine the Data Workbench runs on. You will not touch it day one, but it's there when your data outgrows the simple flow and you need a real scriptable tiling pipeline. So that's the ecosystem, 5 pieces. You start with GLJS and standard, you bring your data through to Data Workbench, you hit mobile with the Maps SDK, you polish in Studio, and the tiling services underneath it all when you need to scale. So where does this fit in the work you're already doing? If you come from traditional GIS, you have been working on QGIS or ArcGIS Pro, you know how to make a great map, you know how to run spatial analysis. What you might not have done yet is publish that work as a web map a non-GIS person can actually use. This is what takes your work to the next level. The work you do in QGIS or ArcGIS becomes the data layer. Mapbox GLJS and standard become the rendering layer. The same map you built for your team becomes a public app backed by some of the best cartography available. And if you're interested in some resources to do this, check out the description. I have a quick start guide and a sample AI prompts to build a Mapbox app with AI. And many job postings and modern geospatial roles now expect you to be able to publish a web map, not just style one in ArcGIS. And full stack skills are definitely in demand. Mapbox is the path of least resistance for that move. So what's the next step from here? First off, big thanks to Mapbox for supporting the channel and helping me with this video. The links to get started, the documentation, the standard style, all of it's in the description along with the quick start guide. Set up a free account, drop the standard style into a single HTML file and the access token, and you can build your first web app in 10 minutes. That is a single most direct path you can take today to upgrade what your AI agent is giving you. Drop a comment with the AI tools you have been using to build web maps and GIS workflows and what is and isn't working. I'd love to hear your responses so I can keep testing the prompt fix against more of them. Make sure to subscribe for more on this topic, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.